Something extraordinary is happening at Aston Martin. Adrian Newey, the legendary designer behind 14 Drivers' Championships and 12 Constructors' titles, has created his first car for the team. The AMR 26 is more than a car, it's a gamble. A Honda power unit that's still untested, an ambitious new chassis, and a team under immense pressure to perform. Every corner, every millisecond, will be scrutinized. And the results could either redefine Aston Martin, or expose every weakness at the worst possible moment. The full story behind this masterpiece is coming, but first, you need to understand why the paddock is already holding its breath. The first thing to understand is that Aston Martin is no longer just a midfield team. The arrival of Adrian Newey changes everything. The man who designed championship-winning cars for Red Bull, McLaren, and Williams now leads Aston Martin's 2026 project. Expectations are astronomical. The paddock knows Newey's genius, but few grasp the scale of the challenge ahead. The AMR 26 isn't just a new car, it's a test of whether a single mind can transform an entire team under extreme pressure. Lawrence Stroll has invested heavily in the AMR technology campus at Silverstone. The CoreWeave wind tunnel, cutting-edge AI processing, and expansive facilities give Aston Martin the tools to compete with the best on the grid. But having state-of-the-art infrastructure doesn't guarantee performance. Newey's approach demands more than raw technology. It requires the team to adapt quickly, think holistically, and synchronize dozens of disciplines simultaneously. The smallest misstep could undermine months of preparation. The AMR 26 is Newey's first car under the Aston Martin banner, and every design choice reflects his philosophy. He works traditionally, using drawing boards rather than fully digital CAD systems. This approach might seem old-fashioned, but it allows him to visualize the car holistically. Every aerodynamic surface, suspension geometry, and hybrid system must integrate perfectly. One flaw in this intricate system could compromise both speed and reliability. The AMR 26 is a masterpiece on paper, but execution will determine if it's legendary or disappointing. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll form the driving duo for 2026. Alonso's decades of experience and memory of past cars give him a unique perspective on car behavior. Stroll, precise and concise, communicates like Kimi Räikkönen, minimalist yet highly effective. Together, their complementary styles provide a feedback loop essential for refining Newey's design. Yet managing two strong voices and extracting consistent guidance is a challenge that could affect early development and pre-season testing. The Honda power unit adds complexity to the equation. Honda has returned as a full works partner, but their 2026 engine program faces significant challenges. Integration with Newey's chassis is not seamless, and development is ongoing up to the final pre-season tests. Even minor mismatches between the engine and the chassis could cost performance on day one. Meanwhile, rival teams exploit regulatory loopholes. Mercedes and Red Bull have gained up to 30 horsepower via compression tricks that Honda cannot use, placing Aston Martin at a potential disadvantage from the start. Time is another critical factor. The AMR 26 will be unveiled on February 9th, only 2 days before the first public test in Bahrain. This compressed schedule leaves little room for adjustments. The team must balance secrecy with preparation, delivering a car that can perform under scrutiny while protecting innovations from rival analysis. Every iteration, every wind tunnel run, every lap in the simulator carries weight. The margin for error is slim, and the pressure on both engineers and drivers is immense. Finally, it's worth noting that while Aston Martin's facilities are world-class, the simulator lags behind top teams. Newey has flagged this as a key limitation. Without accurate simulation data, development may be slower, and physical iterations in the wind tunnel become riskier. The AMR 26's potential will be tested not only on track but in the coordination of technology, talent, and timing. Aston Martin is on the brink of transformation, but success depends on bridging gaps that remain unresolved as 2026 begins. This is where the official story starts to show cracks. Honda has returned as a full works partner, developing a bespoke power unit specifically for Newey's AMR 26. On paper, it looks ideal. A 50-50 split between combustion and electric power, a modern hybrid system, and an engine designed from scratch to match the chassis. But insiders admit that integration is not seamless. Koji Watanabe, Honda Racing president, confirmed in a candid interview that not everything is going smoothly and that many areas are still challenging. Even minor mismatches between engine and chassis could cost crucial performance during the first tests. And Aston Martin cannot exploit the compression ratio loophole that Mercedes and Red Bull have used to gain 30 extra horsepower, leaving them at a potential disadvantage from day one. The AMR 26's success depends not only on raw speed but on how well chassis, aerodynamics, and hybrid systems are coordinated. Early indications suggest that this synchronization is still fragile. And this is where the official narrative begins to break. Behind the confident launch videos, the team is quietly managing technical uncertainties that could shape the first months of 2026 in ways few outside Silverstone realize. And this is where the story becomes complicated. The FIA's 2026 regulations are a reset like no other. New engines, new aerodynamics, and new hybrid rules. The playing field is theoretically level, but the rules are full of gray areas. Mercedes and Red Bull have exploited a compression ratio loophole, gaining an estimated 30 extra horsepower. Aston Martin and Honda cannot use this trick, leaving them at an early potential disadvantage. Inside the team, tensions are quietly simmering. Newey's hands-on approach to the chassis collides with the urgency to finalize engine integration. Reports suggest long nights at Silverstone, debates over packaging, and a relentless push for iteration. Every decision carries weight, both technical and psychological. The financial stakes are immense. The AMR Technology Campus, CoreWeave wind tunnel, and bespoke Honda engine cost hundreds of millions. A misstep could amplify scrutiny and pressure, turning even minor setbacks into high-profile setbacks in the media and paddock. Newey himself is also under unprecedented pressure. He has never been a team principal before. Now, he oversees design, strategy, and people management. The brilliance that made him legendary is being tested against a new challenge: leadership under extreme expectation. The contradictions are striking. Aston Martin has world-class tools and talent, yet development gaps remain. Honda's engine is unfinished. The simulator is behind rivals. And the team is under intense scrutiny from competitors eager to capitalize on any weakness. Most outsiders will see only the green car on launch day. But the real drama is happening inside Silverstone, in the factory and strategy rooms, where the outcome of 2026 is quietly being determined. What no one outside Silverstone seems to understand is the full magnitude of Aston Martin's gamble. The AMR 26 is not just a car. It is the convergence of Adrian Newey's genius, Honda's ambitious return, and Lawrence Stroll's massive investment. Every element must work in perfect harmony. One failure in engine integration, simulation, or aerodynamics could ripple across the entire season. The historical precedent is telling. Ferrari's 2019 car initially looked revolutionary but revealed hidden weaknesses mid-season. Mercedes' DAS system in 2020 delivered brilliance but carried risk under scrutiny. The AMR 26 sits somewhere between these extremes: brilliant on paper, untested in practice, and under pressure from day one. Inside Aston Martin, tensions are quietly intense. Newey pushes for constant improvement, leaving no engineer untouched by scrutiny. Andy Cowell has transitioned to Chief Strategy Officer, Mike Crack focuses on trackside performance, and Enrico Cardiel leads technical oversight. Coordination across these roles is critical, but even minor disagreements could slow progress. Psychological factors are just as crucial. Alonso endured a brutal 2025 season, with patience tested and confidence shaken. Stroll faces ongoing scrutiny for his performance and role in the team. How they respond under the early pressures of 2026 will directly influence development and reliability. The simulator gap is a real concern. While the CoreWeave wind tunnel is world-class, simulations are lagging behind top teams. Every iteration on the track carries higher risk because there is no perfect virtual reference. Mistakes in setup or strategy could compound, making early races a trial by fire. Finally, the broader paddock is watching silently. Rivals know Aston Martin's potential, but they are also aware of its vulnerabilities. Every wind tunnel run, test lap, and technical reveal will be analyzed for weaknesses. The AMR 26 may be a masterpiece of design, but it will only prove itself under extreme scrutiny. The AMR 26 is more than a car, it is a test of whether Aston Martin can transform into a championship contender. If Newey's chassis delivers as promised, it could allow Aston Martin to overcome Honda's engine limitations and challenge teams like Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Early race results could shift perceptions and inject momentum into the team. But the risks remain enormous. Honda is still finalizing engine development. Simulator gaps and integration challenges could compromise performance. A single misstep in Bahrain or Barcelona could amplify pressure, magnifying even small weaknesses. Rival teams are already preparing to exploit every vulnerability. Mercedes, with its superior engine, Red Bull Ford's resources, Ferrari's radical innovations, and McLaren's momentum all are ready to capitalize on any Aston Martin miscalculation. Regulatory nuances will also influence the outcome. The FIA's enforcement decisions on hybrid deployment, aerodynamics, and engine compliance could either reward Aston Martin's innovations or punish misalignment. Every interpretation of the rules will matter. The driver factor is crucial. Alonso's experience and Stroll's precision can amplify the car's potential, but confidence and feedback must align perfectly. Even a brilliant chassis cannot compensate for errors in execution, strategy, or morale. Ultimately, the AMR26 could either rewrite the grid's hierarchy or expose the fragility beneath Aston Martin's ambition. Early results will be scrutinized, and every race will test whether genius and investment can overcome uncertainty. The AMR26 will be revealed on February 9th. But the real test begins after the launch. Every preseason test, every first race, will expose the strengths and weaknesses of this ambitious car. Honda must finalize its engine integration, and Aston Martin must exploit the CoreWeave wind tunnel and limited simulator data to the fullest. Alonso and Stroll must deliver feedback that aligns perfectly with Newey's vision, or development could falter. Rivals will watch, ready to exploit any weakness, and the FIA could intervene in ways that impact performance and strategy. The big question remains: can Adrian Newey's genius, combined with Honda's work and a talented team, overcome the uncertainty, technical challenges, and psychological pressure of a grid reset? No one knows yet. And that is why every eye in the paddock will be on Aston Martin in 2026. Because this may only be the first chapter of a much bigger story.